No. 70 Squadron of the Royal Air Force is the first operational unit to use the new Airbus A400M Atlas. History: World War I. The squadron was formed on the 22nd of April 1916 at Farnborough, and was equipped with the Sopwith 1.5 Strata. The squadron was posted to France, and in 1917 re-equipped with Sopwith Camels. The squadron briefly disbanded in January 1920, reforming 9 days later at Heliopolis, Egypt via the renumbering of No.58 Squadron. The squadron was equipped with the Vickers Vimy bomber. During World War I, the squadron claimed 287 victories, and had as members 19 aces, including Frank Granger Quigley, John Todd, Frank Hobson, Oscar Heron, Frank Gorringe, Walter M. Carlaw, George Robert Houston, Clive Franklin Collett, Alfred Michael Koch, Kenneth Bowman Watson, Noel Webb, Edward Gribben, and Frederick Lawrence. Interwar years. The squadron briefly disbanded in January 1920, reforming 9 days later at Heliopolis, Egypt, via the renumbering of No.58 Squadron. The squadron was now a bomber transport unit operating the Vickers Vimy bomber. After transferring to Hinaydi, Iraq in December 1921, the squadron was re-equipped with Vickers Vernons and subsequently by Vickers Victoria in 1926. In addition to providing heavy transport facilities to both air and ground units, they were used as air ambulances and were responsible for maintaining the Cairo-Baghdad air-mail route. The squadron was commanded by Group Captain Eric Murray DSOMC. In 1929, he flew the first route to the Cape on behalf of Imperial Airways, who were seeking routes for the civil flights. In December 1928, a coup against the Emir of Afghanistan by Habibullah Kalakani, supported by Gizai peoples, led to the first large-scale air evacuation, the Kabul airlift. Over 2 months, Victoria troop carriers of 70 Squadron played central role in the airlift of 586 British and European officials and civilians flying over mountains at a height of up to 10,000 feet, often in severe weather. The Valentia replaced the Victorias in November 1934. 70 Squadron is recorded as being based at RAF Labinia from 1937 to 9, and in August 1939, it returned to Egypt. World War II. After Italy entered the war, the squadron converted to Wellingtons, and on the 18th of September it began operations over the Western Desert, with targets ranging from shipping and airfields to road convoys and supply dumps. In 1940, a detachment was sent to Toy, in support of Allied forces defending Greece, and in 1941 the squadron was involved in the campaign to conquer Vichy-occupied Syria and the Rashid Ali rebellion in Iraq. 70 Squadron relocated frequently in support of the 8th Army's westward advance, first into Libya then Tunisia. In November 1943 it relocated to Jeddah, 20 miles west of Tunis, putting industrial targets in the north of Italy, within easy reach. Between December 1943 and October 1945 the squadron relocated to Foggia, Italy, where the Wellingtons were replaced by the long-range Liberators. The squadron was already active over the Balkans, but the Liberator gave it the range to drop mines in the Danube, as well as to continue bombing targets in northern Italy, Austria and southern France. Post-World War II the squadron disbanded in April 1947 and was reformed in May 1948 at Kabrid, Egypt, when No.215 Squadron was renumbered No.70 Squadron. The squadron was equipped with Dakotas until 1950, when it re-equipped with Valitors. In 1955 the squadron moved to RAF Nicosia, Cyprus, and re-equipped with the Hastings, Vickers Veleta, and later used the Pembroke twin-engined communication aircraft. In 1966 the squadron moved to RAF Akrotiri, while they won the Lord Trophy at RAF El Adam in competition with 5 other medium-range transport squadrons. After a brief period operating Armstrong Whitworth Argosy C-1S, the squadron began conversion to the Hercules in 1970, and moved to RAF Lynham in 1975, after 55 years overseas. After 35 years of operating the Hercules C-1, C-3 from Lynham, the squadron disbanded in September 2010. The squadron reformed on 1 October 2014 and was officially stood up on 24 July 2015 by presentation with a new standard by Princess Anne. Aircraft operated